Elemental School, Sacramento social networking team.
We had the opportunity to meet Kelly Cardenas and Jenny Bailey with the Kelly Cardenas Salon.
We got never before footage and information.
So let's take a look.
My name is Kelly Cardenas. I'm a hairdresser, and we've got 3 salons. We've got them in Carlsbad, Chicago, and Las Vegas, I believe it is. And been in the industry for 20 years. Got a chance to work with Robert Crummies for 10 years. And I think I'm just really excited to be around because I don't deserve any of this stuff. So.
I'm Jenny Bailey. I'm a hairstylist and makeup artist for Kelly Cardenas Salon, and I've been there for almost 2 years.
Could you tell us a little bit about your history from when you were in school and then also when you first started to open up your very first salon?
Okay. My beauty school, or I call it beauty school, it's hair school now, or however we want to say it. It was beauty school to me. Town of probably, I grew up in a town of about 35,000. City that I went to school in maybe 45,000. Paid $360 to go to school. From that point, I never wanted to open my own salon. I just always wanted to be the #1 guy for whoever the guy was. I found out that the guy was Robert Crummies, so I said, hey, I want to be with him and I want to be his #1 guy. I got a chance to assisted him for 7 months. I went into the salon. After 6 months, I got promoted to the director of that salon, and then directed the salons for about 8 years, 9 years. And after a little fork in the road, about 7 years ago, I split from the company and from a Robert Crummies salon, and we started our own brand. And it wasn't, I never wanted to own my own salon. The only reason why I have one is because I felt that I worked for the absolute best in the industry, which I still think he is. And I couldn't think of another environment that I'd want to go into other than his. So I just took what he had taught me, and I wanted to take it, I wanted to cut away the fat. I wanted to take and make him proud. And that's what we're doing constantly. I mean, basically, I'm just a product of my environment. I mean, things that we do we didn't make them up. We're just I'm utilizing the system that I was taught and helping to amplify that.
Nice. All right, what if anything, would you change?
I would have, if I could change, I would have a 6-pack. I think that would be the #1 thing.
Industry related.
Well, that would be industry related because I would probably tie my shirt and not be wearing a half shirt right now. As far as for me, I think that I guess if I could have changed it, I would have not made bonehead decisions in relationships because I wasted probably around 4.5 years of silly relationships that almost, I think really stunted my growth as far as professionally. I think, it's a cliche to say I'd never change anything because it's who I was, meant to be. I don't think I was meant to go through all those challenges. I went through those challenges because I made bonehead decisions. And, I think that if I could do that part again, still learn the lessons, but I could have maybe read about them or talked to someone who made bonehead decisions, and then I could have worked through it. But mainly it was the relationships. I had a relationship for like 2.5 years that wasn't the smartest thing in the world, and then I had another relationship that lasted right around 2 years. And I mean, that's 4.5 years of work. And when I look at a young lady like Jenny here that's been in the industry for 2 years, 2-3 years, and it's amazing because what she's been able to accomplish. She's only 22 years old. 3 years I wasted her career plus 1 year, and what she's already accomplished is so much. So I think that things could have been progressed even further. But I don't want to focus on those things. I want to focus forward. But that would be the thing that I've changed.
So I have a question. Maybe both of you could answer. Do you think while skills aren't necessarily gender-based, do you think that there's certain things, certain challenges that men have in the industry?
I feel like just something I've noticed, like a common thing, is just kind of like slow. It's really like slow. So I feel like girls, we know how to do our hair from the time we're little, and we know to put it in a ponytail, we know to do things, we know how it feels when it's long, it's in your face, we know we are aware of those things. So for guys, like they don't realize when they're doing certain things how it feels to a girl and things like that. So how it feels to round brush it, whatever. So we have that advantage. But I've noticed guys are a little bit slower in the salon, whether it's going through the assistant program or being a stylist. Like it just is like they're figuring it out always. But I've also known, men who are amazing in the industry. And if you go to gathering, half the people on stage are men. So it's not that they're better or worse. It's just I think going through in the beginning is a little bit kind of like figuring it out, real slow.
I think the main part of it is, for me, when I'm watching men, is the ego sense of it. It's the hardest thing to be able to get through your ego. I mean, technically, I think guys are able to pick things up and they're able to almost break it down, and maybe not the artistry part of it, but they can do it technically. But most of the time, their ego is the thing that stands in the way. And then, you didn't ask about women, but on the woman's side, it's the emotional side. A woman will perform if she is happy, and like a guy doesn't care if he's happy; he's going to perform no matter what. But his ego is going to get in the way. So if you talk to him like, hey, go get this for me, he's going to shut down. Whereas a woman, if she's not feeling great that day, sometimes she's not going to perform. So I think in both situations, what we've dealt with in our company is to be able to make systems, because systems don't have emotions. And if you become great at the system, it doesn't matter how you feel, and it doesn't matter what your ego is. And especially, I think system is an emotional killer, and it's an ego killer. Because if you work in a system, so if I show you 4 steps on how to cut hair, and all you have to do is stand here, hold your arm here, and close your scissors here, and I show you that, when you do it, you can't get into ego, because now a monkey can do it. And if I take the system and I say to you, hey, I've got this system that you can do this, and when you come in and maybe you're not feeling well that day, or you got a little bit more emotional side or whatever it is, that doesn't change you standing in that place, holding your hand like that and closing the scissors. So as long as we can move more towards system as opposed to emotion or ego, I think we can take care of both. So.
Now, this is a question for both of you guys to answer too. So, where do you guys both see the future of the hairstyling business, this whole industry? Where do you guys see it going?
Well, when you ask that question, I immediately just think of in our company, because that's what I'm living in, that's what I'm thinking of. So it's really cool because since I've been in Cardenas salon for 2 years, how much has changed just since the day I started to now. So anytime I think of where it could go, it can really go wherever we bring it. So even just in our salon, we can really create our own position. So whatever we want to do, whatever our niche, our talents are, we can put that toward a position to grow the industry. I think that it's just going to become something that's a lot more respected, a lot more popular and a cool thing to do, a cooler thing to go to hair school, and a lot more a higher paying profession. But I think just it really it's exciting because it can really go so many different ways. But I think it's just going to become huge and where everyone wants to get involved.
I said it 7 years ago when we actually started our company that there's going to, I've never said it on camera, so you guys have it, which is going to be kind of cool. Hopefully, if you like it. But I said 7 years ago that there was going to be a point, and I called it. Then I said it was going to be 5 years ago, and it's actually happening now. There's been an influx in the last 13 years of going from 2 schools within Palm Mitchell to over 100. Just phenomenal. So over 16,000 future professionals graduating every single year. What I said 5 years ago, and it's coming right now, is that there was going to be a void, there was going to be a pocket, and there was going to be a vacuum that's created right now, and that's happening right now, where all these kids are getting out of school and they don't have any place to work. And when we did that, when I was talking about it, the reason why I was saying it is because we were starting our company, and we wanted to build our company as a place where kids could come and be able to continue on their career. And our ultimate goal is to have 100 salons in the next 10 years. Now, if you do the numbers on 100 salons in the next 10 years, all we need is 10 kids in every salon. So 10 kids in every salon, if you added 100 to our 3 now, it's 103. So from now to 10 years from now, all we would need is 1,000 kids. So 1,000 kids over the course of 10 years, and you're graduating 16,000 right now every single year. So out of 160,000 kids that will graduate in the next 10 years, all we need is 1,000, which is less than 1% to be able to accomplish our goal. But it's going to take more people to be able to get involved with the salon aspect of it. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a bunch of kids who have a great education, who have nowhere to go with it. And when they have nowhere to go with it, it's going to cause frustration. And when it causes frustration, then you're going to end up in the exact same situation that you were when we started with this business and revolutionized it in the first place, as far as changing the way that people thought about it. The reason why we had to change the way that people thought about it is because parents used to say, you know what, why are you going to beauty school? You need to go to college. Well, now we've changed that in the environment that we've created within the schools. But these kids are going to be parents. And if these kids are disgruntled people that have went to school, have a great education, have nowhere to work and nowhere to be able to apply it, then they're going to then tell their kids, you ain't going to beauty school because I went, I paid a lot, and I did it, and I have no place to be able to utilize it. So that's the point. It's not just the salons, but I just think it's in the professional beauty industry for us to look at different outlets and opportunities to be able to create, and it's going to take people, you know, it's going to take visionaries to be able to step out and do a little something that's a little uncomfortable. The cool thing for us, our company is posed for it. I mean, we're posed and ready right now. Like, there's a lot of people scrambling right now too, so they're putting together systems really fast. Oh, I can just pop up a salon. Well, that's all fine and good, but the difference in a salon is you have to have systems, but you have to have heart. You have to have a heartbeat in it. And that's the cool thing. For us, it's a great situation because there's a vacuum, there's a void, a huge void right now, and I feel that we have that formula. I feel that we have that formula, and that's the tipping point for us, is we're right at that point right now. And there's a lot of people chasing it, and they think, okay, well, I'm going to go study salons, I'm going to study an environment, I'm going to study the way that the salon looks. A lot of people see that all the time. They ask me, oh, okay, well, what would you do here? And I'll give them advice all the time, because the environment, the actual physical environment doesn't matter. And that's the part, that's the great thing. I mean, on Catch Me If You Can, he said that why did the Yankees win all the time? And he was like, oh, because they got, what was it, Roger Maris and Babe Ruth and all this stuff. And he's like, no, because the opponents can't keep their eyes off the stripes. And so many people in our industry are focused on so many different things, but the one thing that they're not focused on is making an environment that is creating successful hairdressers. And the only person in our industry that's ever done it has been Robert Cromeans. I mean, and I asked this from so many people, you know, like, if you look at the successful people within our industry, and when they're experiencing true success in their lives and their relationships, all those things, generally you're not talking to hairdressers. Generally you're not talking to people who work in a salon. Generally you're talking to the salon owner, or you're talking to a distributor, or you're talking to all these, you know, an educator who's not in the salon. But to have successful hairdressers, that's the backbone of this whole industry. That's what it is. I mean, product doesn't sell unless there's a hairdresser. You know, all these different things. So that's the part that I think that we really, really need to focus on as we move forward. And like I said, the cool thing for us is we've been focused on it for the last 7 years, and we've grown at a very slow rate. We've done 3 salons in 7 years, which is not like, wow, I can't believe it blew my mind. But once it hits, it's going to go like wildfire, and I think that we're supposed to do it.
Me and Kat had the opportunity to interview when Clay bought, and he said that if you go into a salon and it doesn't have that be nice culture, create it for yourself. It sounds like that's what you're implementing in your salons, is that be nice culture.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, I think Gwen is an absolute genius, you know, in what he's done, and to be able to have it. And I think that, you know, it's the right mix of the two, because, I mean, I think that, you know, I've talked about it with Jenny and stuff like that, and I honestly, like, if I was, and I think that Gwen has the right mix of it, because it is a be nice or else culture, but Gwen is also a very savvy business person that will stay in your face until he gets the result that he wants. And I think that that's the part that people need to understand and to know, is that it's not a happy skip through the daisies kind of thing. It is a performance-based relationship, in any relationship, you know what I'm saying? I mean, even with my wife loves me, but I gotta perform in the relationship. If I'm not performing in the relationship, I mean, yes, there's unconditional love, you know, in a relationship like that, but in a business relationship, I have to be giving her opportunities, she has to be performing. If she's not performing, or I'm not giving opportunity, that's gonna take away from it. So we wanna be able to have it, and I think that, you know, that's what can really change the industry, you know.
Well, we thank you so much for coming to our school and, you know, talking to us and informing us and helping us get through this industry and be successful. So
It's been a pleasure.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Absolutely. You got it.
Awesome. Thank
Got
you
it.
so much.